welcome back. We're here today in the workshop and we're going to be taking a closer look at the Kenton Masters pony saddle. So if you're interested in that, sit back, make yourselves a cup of tea and hopefully enjoy. Welcome back to new viewers, old viewers, in-between viewers, whatever you are. Subscribers, non-subscribers. I'm Poppy Webber and I'm a qualified saddle fitter for the Society of Master Saddlers, and every week I do a spotlight on a product or a saddle or something to do with saddle fitting, and today it's a turn of the Kenton Masters pony saddle. Now I have a tendency to waffle and chit chat quite a lot, so if you think there's bits of bit that you're not going to be interested in, if you look down there in the description you'll see the chapters, so you can skip forward some chapters if you want, but I recommend sticking around for all of it if you can, because there might be some useful stuff that you learn that you didn't think that you needed to learn. That makes sense? You know what I mean. So let's get cracking. So Kenton Master saddles, we all know about Kenton Master saddles, don't we? So what do we know about them? We know that they're leather, they're on a plastic tree, they're adjustable with a gullet bar in the front, they are lightweight, they are wool flocked, loads of things that we know about the Kenton Masters saddles. So this is a little Kenton Masters pony saddle. This is little Pumpkin. In case anyone doesn't know Pumpkin, she's my little dog. She's recovering from an operation at the moment. She's also my bestest friend. Let's look more specifically at the pony version of the Kenton Masters saddle. Here it is. This is a little 15-inch one. What's the first thing that we notice about them? Well, they have tiny little flaps. Can we see this here? Tiny little flaps. So these saddles are marketed for proper little ponies. This is not going to be suitable for like a teenager with long legs on a pony, because they've got tiny little flaps. In the slightly larger sizes of the Kenton Masters pony saddles, they do something called a long-legged version. Now what does that mean? Well, that means that this flap here is a little bit less tiny, so therefore more suitable for people with longer legs. So for those teenagers with little tiny bottoms and big long legs riding on a smaller pony that need a smaller saddle, the Kenton Masters long-legged version can be a good idea. These, however, are the 15-inch versions. They don't have the long-legged version. What else about them? So they've got quite a flat seat. So the seat is quite flat, therefore the tree is quite flat. So this is designed for something with a slightly flatter, slightly straighter back. The fact that it's got this flat seat and a square cantle, this square cantle here means it's good for jumping, because it means that little rider can get their bottom out of the saddle and back in again without crashing against the back of the cantle. So that's what the square cantles are good for. Do you know what it means having a square cantle in the Kenton Masters world? A Kenton Masters saddle with a square cantle probably, not always, probably will take the square gullet bar. So they come in square and round, and they usually correspond to the shape of the cantle. Not always, I have to say, so some of the adult ones are different, but these pony ones do take a square gullet bar. And the difference between a square gullet bar and a round gullet bar is the length of the points. Now I'm going to do a whole video on square versus round gullet bars because it's a little confusing for some people, but the square ones are shorter. And on a pony saddle, you want that little short point. So this here is a point, so the gullet bar sits in here, and this is a little point that it comes to. The long one would come right down here and would just be too big for the saddle, really. So square cantle, flat seat, good to get your bum in and out of. Not my bum personally, because I would never fit my bum in a 15-inch saddle, but the rider's bum in and out of the saddle nicely. Quite a flat tree, so what sort of pony would it fit? Well, it's not going to fit something with loads of wither and loads of shape to its back. It will fit something with a little bit of wither. So when we look here, there's a little bit of rise up at what's called the head of the tree, and that's where the wither sits. So equally, it's not going to be totally suitable for something with absolutely zero withers. So something that's very flat, very broad here, you have a little bit too much shape in the front, usually, not always, for a flat-backed pony. Now obviously this is all dependent on your saddle fitter, so if your saddle fitter is qualified and has fitted one of these on your flat back pony, then please don't panic that I'm saying that. There are lots of variables. This is a really rough guide and something that has to be discussed with your saddle fitter, not just listening to me waffling on YouTube. What about the panels? So here are the panels. These are the panels, the squashy bits that sit on your horse's back. Pony's back in this case. You probably wouldn't want to put this on a horse. These have got very neat, small, little what's called gussets. So this here is the rear gusset. We can see that there. Really quite little. Some saddles have much bigger gussets. These don't need big gussets because they're designed for ponies and you want them to sit into the pony. Again, in the front, they've got what's called a front gusset here. And again, quite small, quite neat. So these saddles are designed to sit into the horse and not sit pony even, and not sit on top and wibble wobble around. So the panels in here are wool flocked. That means they've got flocking in them. They are wool flocked with this. Jacob's flock, the best kind of flock I think personally, the flock that I use on all saddles when I do reflocks. So this is what they come with inside here. That means that these little Kenton Masters pony saddles can be adjusted by your saddle fitter really easily using the flock and also the gullet bar at the front. I don't know if you can hear or even see, you can see my window there? The wind here is just like, I feel like the roof is going to blow off my shed. So gullet bar. This gullet bar in here is an orange one, we see that? That is a wide / extra wide. This is last been on a pony that's wide / extra wide. They do go from narrow medium all the way up to extra wide. So they go from like this to like this. Now we're going to do a whole different video on adjustable saddles and about the adjustability of saddles, but that in theory is what these saddles can do. Medium narrow to extra wide, which is quite incredible on the same tree. That's without changing the tree at all. That's just changing the shape at the front with the bars. So that's what these saddles are really good for. So if you've got a horse that, you know, fluctuates a little bit in its weight, it goes from like a wide to an extra wide over the winter and the summer, then these can be really good for that. What else makes them really good pony saddles / kids saddles? They're dead easy to look after. Yes, they're leather, but they're a really easy leather to look after. They're lightweight. There's hardly anything to them. Admittedly, quite partly because they've got such a tiny little flap, but they're lightweight, they're on a plastic tree, and little kids can hook them over their arms, no problem. As an example, I asked my daughter to pass me this saddle a minute ago for this video, and she picked it up between her fingers, and she carried it over to me, and she's like, OMG, I can carry this in my fingers. So they are really light, really little, really cute saddles. And the fact that they're so adjustable makes them really popular as well. Now the plastic tree, what difference does that make? So some trees are wooden. I don't know if you can see this here. That's a wooden tree up there. Some trees are plastic. The plastic trees tend to be used in these adjustable saddles because, well, basically the plastic has more something, like ability to kind of like expand and contract without cracking. If we were, for example, to take this wooden tree, which is currently on a, probably about a medium, if we were to take this wooden tree out to like an extra wide, then the chances are we would crack something within the tree. So while some wooden trees, this one for example, are pretty adjustable and they can go in and out a few width fittings, taking something repeatedly from a narrow to an extra wide would damage the wooden tree. These saddles can be taken repeatedly from narrow to extra wide without damaging the tree at all because they're a plastic tree. Does that plastic tree feel any different to a wooden tree? Some people would say no, other people would say yes. Some people can really feel the difference. In a plastic tree, they feel like they haven't got quite so much give under their seat bones. Other people absolutely love them. It's really kind of a case of what you like and what you don't like. Everyone likes different things. I love Matt Goss from Bros. Some people like Luke Goss from Bros. You know, everyone likes different things. If you're under the age of about 40 and don't know who Bros are, Google. Matt Goss is like, oh, I was in love with Matt Goss for so many years. I honestly thought that one day I would marry him. When I was about 10, I thought that Matt Goss would marry me. So yes, people feel different things. Some people don't mind the plastic trees at all. Some people love the plastic trees. Some people prefer a wooden tree. However, let's face it, these are for children. They're little lightweight dots on a saddle this size. Are they going to notice a difference under their bottom? Probably not. Whilst talking about the tree and stuff, the twist here, this here is called the twist. The twist on these saddles is fairly narrow. I would say that that is about, that's about 1.5 inches on these saddles, and that means that that little dot person that you put on your saddle hasn't got quite so much bulk between the top of their legs. You wouldn't want to have a really wide twist on a little saddle like this. That twist between a little small person's legs would make their little legs stick out like something on a Thelwell pony. You know those Thelwell cartoons where the kids' legs stick out at right angles? That's what would happen. So quite a small twist, quite small panels. The whole saddle is designed to sit and fit the child, to sit them as neatly as they can onto their little ponies. Remembering they're ponies with a little bit of shape at the front and a fairly flat back, not too much shape through the back, because that's what these trees fit best. Let's get on to the flap. So we've already spoken about the flap being quite small, tiny in fact, itty bitty teeny tiny. Well, not only is it quite little, it's fairly straight. So it's not the most forward cut of flap. They do a jump saddle like this, so this is a GP. So it's not the most forward cut GP you've ever seen, but for a little pair of legs, it's perfectly forward cut enough. And when we lift the flap up, we see underneath here, there is a Velcro knee block. And that little Velcro knee block means that you can take it off and you can move it depending on where the little child's leg sits. So you can put it like this, then as their legs grow and grow and grow, and they start to get their knee over the top of the block, we can twist the block to sit like that so their leg comes underneath the block. Because that's where your leg should come, is underneath the block, not over the block. Underneath, not over. Does that make sense? Whilst we're under here, let's look at the girthing. So as with the majority of Kenton Master saddles, and again the majority, not all of them, some jump saddles are different, dressage saddles are different, but the majority of the GP Kenton Master saddles have this rather unique girthing system. I've spoken about this before because some people do them up wrong, so I'm going to pop the link up to the video that discusses how to do these girths up. You can click on it and kind of save it to watch it later, because if you've got a Kenton Master saddle or you're thinking of getting one, it's an essential video to watch because it tells you how to girth it up, because these are not standard girth straps. Normally when you lift up a saddle you've got 3 straps. They're different than this. These are different. As with other Kenton Master GP saddles, has this rather unique girthing system, which as a saddle fitter I find brilliant. Really useful for me because it means that all the girthing options are there. It's got a point strap, it's got a normal first strap, it's got a normal third strap, and it's got the ability to put a balance strap on here where this little ring is. We can move that onto there if we want. So that's so many different options for girthing. So if your pony saddle moves forward or side to side or back to front or upside down, there's loads of different girthing options on these Kenton Master saddles to try. Again, I'm sorry I keep saying it, I know, but I want you to know how important this is. Please only change your girthing options under the guidance of your qualified saddle fitter. I know I'm a bore, I know, but it's so important because you can do so much damage using the wrong girth straps. I popped a link a minute ago, find that video, watch that, but do it under the guidance of your saddle fitter, yeah? So let's have a really quick little recap and any other thoughts that I can think of on the way. So they're leather. They're all leather, all over. Every part of the saddle is made of leather. They've got adjustable gullet bar in the front. This one had that orange bar in, and we can change the gullet bar from a narrow medium to an extra wide an infinite number of times, as many times as you want, without damaging the tree. Brilliant. They're on a sort of tree that is quite flat, good for kids to get their bum out of the saddle and back in again when they're jumping, with a square cantle. That square cantle means that the bum can come out, back in without crunching down, hitting parts on the back of the cantle. There's a little bit of shape at the front, so designed for a pony with a little bit of shape at the front and slightly flatter through the back. They've got a fairly straight cut, itty bitty flap with adjustable Velcro knee blocks, a multitude of girthing options, wool flocked, small gusseted panels. The problem is that people think that adjustable saddles will fit any pony they put on because they're adjustable. Actually, it's not true. All that we're adjusting is the width at the front, but these saddles are very versatile. They do fit a really wide range of ponies. So if you're interested in them, next time you're getting a saddle fitter out, ask them to pop one on the van and bring one out with them, because they're very good, very lightweight, very easy to look after, are brilliant for saddle fitters to adjust and to tweak. They're just really good little pony saddles. And they're also really quite smart to look at. I hope that was interesting. I hope you've learned something. I hope that has piqued your interest a little bit in the Kenton Masters pony saddle. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, comment below, ask questions as much as you can, because any interaction with my channel is fantastic for me. I spend a lot of time making these little videos and I'd appreciate some feedback, some love, some likes, some anything like that. Don't forget that I do a monthly live video where you can ask me any questions you'd like, as a saddle fitter preferably. I'm not great at much else. And I also do regular weekly, sometimes twice a week, last week 4 videos. So do regular videos. So if you're interested in anything saddles, saddle fitting, horsey, anything like that at all, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and then you'll be able to catch up with all my latest adventures. Thank you so much for watching again. I know. Take care, stay safe. Lots of love.